Let's welcome our next guest to the show, Eric Lupton, President, Lifesaver Pools and Fences, actually Pool Fence, the nation's largest pool fence company in the world and the only one recognized by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission Pool Safety Campaign as the safety leader. Eric, you're saving lives. It doesn't, you've got to wake up in the morning and smile and be happy because of what you're doing.
Almost every day. Yeah, thanks. That is a fantastic introduction. Thank you for that.
No problem. There's a couple really neat things that I know about you and your family and the company is that your dad started this business. It's a family business. You've taken it over. You guys are doing great things, and it is all made right here in the USA.
Yeah, that's all true. So, he started it in 1987 as a child-proofing company, and he was going into homes and trying to make homes safer for children by doing the stairway gates and the outlets and all the stuff you do to childproof a home. And especially in Florida, we quickly realized that the pool was the most dangerous part of the home. So we shifted into pool safety, and he ran it with my mom. She would sew the mesh for the pool fence at night, and then he would get up at 4 a.m. and go on a paper route, and whatever money he made from the paper route, that was his advertising budget. And then he would make the fence during the day, and then he would go out and sell it and install it when he wasn't, making it. So between the two of them, they were able to put it together.
What an amazing story.
Yeah.
That's when kids, you just have to look at your dad and your parents, your mom and dad, and go, you got to be in awe, because it's what they've done and what they did to support their family. And what a fantastic American story, the American dream. He was out, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it was impressive. And, he was a Vietnam vet, and my mom had, 2 little kids. She had me. I was, 3 years old at the time, and I have cerebral palsy. I use a wheelchair, and she also had my younger brother who was an infant.
Mm-hmm.
So, she was running the office, and it's hard to believe that, that they were able to pull it off. And
are there any other siblings in the business?
So it's me and the brother I talked about, and then we have one more brother who's adopted, and we all work in the company.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so it's literally the entire family.
Now, at what point did you really see a change in the marketing and really the consumer consumption of your product? When did that? Because at some point the laws changed and said you've got to have fencing around pools.
Right.
I should have done my homework, but I'm sure know those dates for me.
Yeah, so the laws have changed state by state, but before the law changed, there was a groundswell of support and kind of a cultural acceptance for our product. So we started out kind of as the bastard child of the industry. The pool industry didn't like us. They thought we were talking down about pools, saying they were unsafe. So we were kind of, separated from everybody else. But, over time, it gained acceptance. Smart pool builders and, the swimming industry realized that, if they can sell a safer product, then it's better for everybody. They got a lot more education about drowning prevention out into the community. There were a lot of government programs and nonprofits who helped burn the way for that. So it was a combination of the laws, but just more so a cultural acceptance of pool fencing and pool safety in general. So, it's been gradual. I don't know if there was one moment where I could say that there was a switch over, but we have seen, one point in time where people said, don't get a pool fence that provides a false sense of security and, it's a babysitter for your kids, where nowadays, pretty much across the board, everyone agrees that if you have children and you have a pool, if you wouldn't have a car without seatbelts, you shouldn't have a pool without a fence.
I mean, it's just complete nonsense when people say those things, though, but it's crazy. You guys also created something really pretty special with the Safe Light donation program. Kind of tell me a little bit about what you're doing in that.
Yeah, I started the Save a Life Pool Fence donation program in 2011, and essentially every time we sell a pool fence, we set aside pool fencing to be donated to the family of a fatal or non-fatal drowning incident. So the idea was that it wasn't income-based, that we didn't, take a look at how much money you made, It didn't matter if you were rich or poor, that if you were affected by a drowning in any way, and if your child was okay or not okay, we would make sure that at least one thing you didn't have to worry about was making sure your pool fence or your pool was safe going forward. And we would sell and install the pool fence at no cost. So as the manufacturer, we donate the pool fence materials, and then the local dealer will donate his time and labor and install the fence. And, we try and do, at least 4 of those a month if we could. We actually have a hard time finding as many people as we'd like to donate fences to. So,
I was going to ask you about that. How do you find your recipients of these? Do you guys scour the news, or do they come and find you?
It's both. So if we see them in the news, we try and get a hold of them. Lots of times they're referred to us by, organizations like the National Drowning Prevention Alliance or Live Like Jake or some of these other drowning prevention nonprofits. Sometimes they're referred to us by, the Department of Children and Families, firefighters, paramedics, hospitals. Any organization that's legitimate that refers a family to us, we usually just take their word for it and we put the fence in.
I mean, that's really, really a special thing you're doing. And you said you're doing averaging 4 a month?
Yeah, we try to do 4 a month. That's the goal. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And on average, a pool fence can run between $1,000 to $2,000. So it's a pretty substantial donation.
So let me ask you, where are the fences manufactured? We manufacture in Delray Beach, Florida.
We have a facility here that's just under 13,000 square feet, and we do all the manufacturing right here in Florida, and then we ship it out to our dealers around the country. We have a second shipping facility in California, so that way if our dealers in California or Texas or Arizona, they get everything quickly. So we've got the main facility here in Florida, and then a satellite shipping center out in California, and that's where everything's done.
We got to get you to Texas. Listen, we have to take a break right now, but we're going to be back, and we're going to talk a little more about your distribution and your continued thoughts on safety when we come back on the other side of this break. Thank you, Eric. We'll be right back with CEO Money. All right, welcome back to CEO Money. I've been talking to Eric Lupton, president of Life Save Pool Fences. Did I pronounce your last name right, Eric, please?
Lupton. Yeah, you're
Lupton.
close enough.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Now, Eric, let me ask you a quick question. How long have you been at the helm of the company that your dad
About
started?
15 years.
15?
Yeah.
So your parents today, are they still with us?
No, they both passed away. They retired. My dad retired in 2003, pretty much completely, and he passed away actually this March, March 8th, 2017.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
But I know he's proud of you. He had a lot of years watching you at the helm of his company that your mom and he started. So that has to be a neat thing for him. Tell me,
it's very cool.
Let's just kind of have some fun here for a second. Your dad, what was something that you did to innovate the company? What did you bring into the company where he kind of shook his head? And I'm going completely spitballing here, so you can I hope I'm not out of line. But fun, because I grew up in a family business, and I know when I did something, I said, Dad, we got to go this way. And he just shook his head and goes, yeah, youth. But then when it works, it's great. So was there something fun that your dad said, only if I was 40 years younger, I could have done that? That you...
Yeah, there was a bunch of things, right? So, we were kind of growing in the age of the internet, and he was actually kind of ahead of his time, compared to people his age, but he wasn't maybe as on board as I was. So I was heavy into Google AdWords and Facebook advertising and, kind of these, spending money advertising online.
Sure.
And, for a while he thought we were just wasting money, but it ended up working out really well.
When those phones
that was
ring.
A big one. The fulfillment center in California was another big one. Changing the logo. We updated our logo about 6 years ago to what it is now, and he wasn't a fan of that, but it turned out really well. So, yeah, there was a bunch of them, actually. Yeah.
Well, Dad, I know he's looking down on you, and he's proud of what's going on, and it's very smart. having distribution centers, and because your product, it is larger. It's a fence of some sort. So do you still manufacture it all in Florida, and then you just have different distribution outlets? Is that it? Or are you doing any in
we
California?
manufacture it here at the headquarters in Florida, and then we ship it out to the shipping center in California or here. So depending upon where the dealer is, we'll either ship it, from here or there. So if they're in California, obviously they get it from California. If they're in Texas, they can get it from either one. If they're in Georgia, or New York, New Jersey, they get it from here in Florida.
Okay, so we're going to have to wrap this up here really quickly, but I do want to find out what is next for you and the fence company. What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish, growth-wise?
So we're already the biggest pool fence company in the world. Our website is poolfence.com, and we're trying to make that the hub for pool safety information. The biggest thing we're doing now is social media. We've got 15,000 followers on Facebook. We're growing on Instagram, and we're trying to have one-on-one relationships with everyone interested in our company. And that's probably the biggest thing we have going on right now.
Eric, thank you so much for being part of the show. If people want to find you, I guess they can go to poolfence.com. It's as simple as that.
That's it.
Okay, you have it. The largest
thank you so much.
pool fence safety company in the world. It's poolfence.com. Thank you so much, Eric, for being on the show, and see you next time.
Thank you so much.